Andrew Tate is an online personality of which is taking the internet by storm, quickly rising to be the most searched individual across all of Google for his undeniably misogynistic escapades.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, then grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch! Her panties get wet. Machete's on the floor, her panties are all wet. You go, fuck her. That's how it goes. Slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex.
And with his recent embarrassing tantrum on Twitter over him losing beef he randomly started with Greta Thunberg, he has only decreased his popularity across the internet as a pizza box in his response video alerted Romanian authorities to his presence in the country, allowing them to not only arrest him for human sex trafficking, but to also detain him for an extra 30 days. However, the question remains, are they actually allegations? Well, in this video I aim to get as close to the answer as humanly possible without the bias created by the conclusion of a Romanian court due to their undeniable corruption. And the single best way to answer this question is via using Andrew Tate's own words on his own website, where on a now deleted page, you can see he damn near admits to it. The way we are able to view deleted web pages is through the Wayback Machine, an archiving site that clones web pages without any ability to edit them. And as I said when using this, on the date January 8th, 2022, you will see his website features a downright damn near concrete answer to said question. As it states, I've been running a webcam studio for nearly a decade. I've had over 75 girls work for me, and my business model is different than 99% of webcam studio owners. Over 50% of my employees were actually my girlfriend at the time, and of all my girlfriends, none were in the adult entertainment industry before they met me. With the next paragraph on this page obviously serving as a means to further solidify this as his webcam business model. As it states, literally that was my job. My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, test if she's quality, get her to fall in love with me to where she'd do anything I'd say, and then get her on a webcam so we could become rich together. Whether you agree or disagree with what I did with that loyalty, submission and love for me doesn't matter. You cannot reject the results, and the results are simple. My girlfriends would do more for me than 99.9% of men's wives would do for them. Now if that somehow has not set off any red flags in your head, then hopefully the next thing I'm about to say will, because what you just heard was an almost perfect retelling of the boyfriend slash girlfriend model of human sex trafficking, almost word for word. For those of you who are understandably not too knowledgeable about human sex trafficking, the boyfriend model is a sexual exploitation that may begin with grooming, where the victim is initially led to believe they are in a relationship with the trafficker. However, at some later stage, the victim is coerced, tricked or forced into sexual acts with the perpetrator and others. Now does that sound familiar? Because it sure as hell should based on what I just read, because Andrew Tate's deleted page on his website perfectly describes his webcam business as utilizing the boyfriend model of human sex trafficking, as he blatantly and openly states that over 50% of his employees were actually his girlfriend at the time, and none of them were in the adult entertainment industry before he coerced them into it. And it is evidently fairly easy for a prosecutor to prove that Andrew Tate was in fact coercing girls into his business, as stated by Bruce Rivers, an actual criminal lawyer covering the situation.
Also, when you're a real G, is that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You gotta go to Poland, you gotta go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches State Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out.
So I got all these chicks, they're in love with me. They don't go out. They're not allowed out. So restricting somebody of their movement is part of force, fraud, or coercion. Because what happens if they go out?
Tate's away, so they go out with their friends. No. You don't go to the club with your friends. I don't know what kind of bitch-ass dude is letting his chicks go to the club with her friends without him. No. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere. You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
Do you get to eat? Do you get to take a shit? I mean, when you start controlling somebody like that, that is the crux of, you come here on a promise of whatever, but when you get here, I control your every movement. That's coercion. That's absolute coercion.
And for the deluded few watching this video who believe the Matrix hacked him, which it would not surprise me to hear if that's what he comes up with as an excuse, I have some bad news for you guys, since he's been on podcasts publicly backing up what he stated here.
Our webcam business, you're gonna stay, you're gonna live in London, I'm gonna look after you, and we're gonna get rich. We're gonna be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch? I'm like, she's my girlfriend, she's my girlfriend, she's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're gonna stay here and we're gonna make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. In the end, long story short, 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations.
If you are willingly ignorant to how emotional abuse works and think that maybe he isn't emotionally abusive but instead he purely used the women who actually wanted to partake in the business operations with him, I have even more bad news for you, as Tate openly admitted to emotionally manipulating as well as emotionally abusing these women on other people's podcasts in order to keep them in the business, to which they merely responded with laughter.
So at the peak of my webcam business, I got to the point where I would only be having sex to reward the girls who made me most money. because what happened was the girls are working not for money, they're working to please me. Right. Because they love me. So they're working for attention. But I have too many girls. So if you only have half an hour per day per girl to spend time with the girl,
it's like a word problem. Was this on the SATs for scumbags? Is that Andrew runs trains on 300.
It becomes increasingly difficult for me to personally believe Andrew Tate is entirely innocent like he claims he is, as like I've shown here, you can find numerous examples of him at the very least outright saying he's been mentally abusing the webcam girls working for him. Not to mention his statements in regards to moving to Romania to actively take advantage of the corruption in the country that we're all very aware of.
Can I ask, why do you choose to live there?
In Romania?
Yeah, I know you have like businesses and things going on there, but why there?
People see a higher power beyond simply just money and government. They believe in God. This is another reason I like spending time in Dubai. It doesn't matter if it's Allah or God or whatever you want to call him. I like that. And also I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible. I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe.
This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania, because in Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. If you're gonna go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988, so we should have done something about it then. If you go to the police and say he raped me yesterday, say, okay, if you've got physical evidence, or is there CCTV proof? Where'd it happen? Okay, let's go interview him right now. And if it wasn't really rape, I'd say, we went to the club, we got drunk, she agreed to go back to my house, we started having sex, and then we carried on having sex, and then we had sex, and she didn't say anything wrong, and then she texted me afterwards, and I didn't text back, and now she's saying I raped her. The police would be like, okay, she's an idiot, bye. But no, not in the West. In the West, you can tell them that exact story, you're still fucked. You're fucked in the West. When people say, why did you live in Romania? And I explain my 5 reasons. One of them is the Me Too era. They go, oh, well, you're a rapist. I say, no, I'm not a fucking rapist. But I like the idea of being able to just say, to do what I want. I like being free.
Pair that alongside his tendency to fly girls over to Romania in order to discuss quote-unquote business with them.
I was in Germany, and Andrew Tate invited me to come see his house and talk business. And he flew me over there for a day. I was there for a day. He was talking about starting a paywall, trying to figure out how to monetize content. And then I flew home.
Although Jordan Peterson's daughter says nothing happened when she was there discussing business, it becomes increasingly difficult to deny something is going on with Andrew Tate where you pay even the slightest bit of attention, especially when he was caught publicly attempting to groom an underage girl into the adult entertainment industry as soon as she turned 18.
It's fine. You know, like, if you ever, once you're 18, if you want to get yourself a real man, I know a guy.
You do?
I do, yeah. I do know a guy.
Who is it?
What? It's a long story. I can't tell you exactly who because there's bad things about him.
Yo, there's no fucking way you just said that. No. I actually overheard that. The fact that you fucking said that shit is fucking crazy.
The most worrisome thing about that clip is the remark Andrew made there when she asked who he was referring to.
Who is it?
What? It's a long story. I can't tell you exactly who because there's bad things about him.
This is a man that frankly I don't personally believe anyone should support due to his abhorrently sexist beliefs in the first place, but also because there is clearly something happening behind the scenes that has been repeatedly alluded to by Andrew among other people. If the Romanian authorities miraculously do actually properly investigate him and end up finding evidence of him flying the victims of his boyfriend model out to Romania or any other countries, then where they reside, then that is classed as human sex trafficking. As it currently stands, the only piece of evidence we're lacking that isn't publicly available to my knowledge is whether or not Andrew has been moving these girls between countries. That's concrete enough to say that he is objectively sex trafficking here. And if evidence of this is found, then there is an extremely solid case against Andrew Tate in regards to the allegations against him. And even though I hope he will be convicted if found guilty, the problem we are all well aware of is the fact Romanian authorities are prosecuting him, and this is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, as Tate said himself. Personally, I don't think he will be convicted if they find evidence against him, since even with his official arrest from authorities, you can evidently see he was not in handcuffs at times, something that is a major red flag. But regardless of whatever outcomes the courts decide, I don't believe this is someone you should support in the first place. He is very clearly not even slightly a good person, and it's undeniable that he's a misogynist. Him saying a few good things about men's mental health here and there is not an excuse for everything else he said, because every extremist in history has said some things that make sense as their baseline arguments, because that's exactly how they get you hooked in, especially when they're openly running a scam they want you to get invested into. Along with all of that, and the self-admitted use of the boyfriend model of sex trafficking from Andrew Tate's own website, and his own words in clips from other people's podcasts, I truly fail to see how anyone can deny something is going on here. So with all that being said, we have finally come to the end of this video, and I hope you guys did enjoy it, even if it is on a much darker topic than usual. And please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out the Discord server, the Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So that will see you all in the next video.